and welcome to Asset TV's ETF Show live from the New York Stock Exchange. I'm Ritika Gupta and I'm pleased to be joined by Todd Rosenbluth today. He's the head of research at VettaFi. So welcome, Todd.
It's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and we really want to start off here with the themes of the first half of the year. Now, let's kick it off with actively managed ETFs. I mean, they've continued to win ever since the adoption of the ETF rule. I mean, what are you seeing in terms of flows there?
Yeah, we've seen about a third of the flows in 2024 have gone towards actively managed ETFs. We have some of the big boys and girls in the ETF industry like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street offering products. We also have T. Rowe Price and Capital Group that entered into the ETF market more recently, having success. We're really excited to see the stock picking and bond selection being adopted by advisors and investors in the ETF space.
And when we look at styles, growth versus value, for instance, clearly growth has been leading the charge. But for those investors who want some more stability, you're seeing a lot of interest in quality ETFs. So what is that telling us about investors' outlook? And also, can you name some success stories of ETFs that are really gaining traction?
Right. So this has been a market in 2024 where NVIDIA has really driven things much higher. Those are more mega cap growth oriented companies that you'd find in the triple Qs, for example. We are finding advisors focusing on quality and quality growth. So the American Century Quality Growth ETF, QGROW, is an example of an ETF that's been gaining traction and that we're excited about. Victory Shares has a free cash flow ETF. The ticker is VFLO, VFLO, that looks at free cash flow, but on a forward-looking basis. We're seeing really strong interest in growth at a more reasonable price and stability heading into the second half of 2024.
And I want to switch gears here and talk about Bitcoin ETFs, because of course, January of this year, we had the approval of the first spot Bitcoin ETF, and they've been highly popular with investors. But we have seen of late some losses, some outflows. Do you see that popularity continuing, or do you think there's a bit more uncertainty there?
So the story of the year certainly has to be Bitcoin ETFs. This is 10 years in the making. We saw the success of IBIT from BlackRock and Fidelity's product and Bitwise in the first quarter. It even continued in the second quarter. It can't always see flows week after week. There's going to be some profit taking. We do think that we're seeing advisor adoption start to pick up as the education increases. And we're looking forward as we head into the second half that we could have spot Ether ETFs from some of those same firms. So that's something to be looking forward to. And as we now are about to hit July.
Absolutely, Todd. I was actually just going to hit up on that point. So what other trends do you think for the rest of the year are going to be picking up steam?
So I do think we're going to see continued volatility heading into an election. Advisors are more cost conscious than they were beforehand and concerned about volatility. Covered call ETFs and defined outcome and downside protection oriented ETFs we think are going to remain popular. Calamos launched a recent suite of products that's had success. We've seen Innovator have success, and Neos is one of those firms to watch within the covered call suite. They just launched a new small cap product this past week. We really think that could gain traction, income within the small cap space. We're excited to see what happens.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much, Todd. That was Todd Rosenbluth there of VettaFi Research.